Welcome to Unit 7, Lesson 3, Parameters and Return Practice. All right, so to begin, what is one reason why parameters and return values are useful? This is what we covered at the very end of class. I think maybe actually from at the very end of lesson 1. So, what is one way you think programming with parameters and return values may make programming or debugging more challenging? I want you to pause the video so that you can come up with a response to both of these questions and then play the video back. So, parameters and return values allow us to write code that is neater and works in a larger number of scenarios. We're going to have to practice reading, writing, and debugging code like this, however, because it works a little differently than the programs we've gotten used to writing. So, let's go ahead and get started. Quick reminder about debugging. It is the process of finding and fixing problems in the code. So describe the problem, hunt for the bugs, document as you go, and try solutions, make small changes, okay? Today you are going to mostly be practicing what we've learned about programming with parameters and return values. In general, we want to use the debugging process that we've practiced all semester. But here's some specific things to look out for in today's lesson. Use the debug console. Okay, so the console.log, use that to call functions with parameters, all right, with different values to see how they run. And then don't forget to slow it down with the speed slider to see how the code is running once your function is called. Okay. Like it says over here, use the speed slider to slow down code so you can watch how functions are being called. This will highlight lines of code in yellow as the program runs. Okay? So let's go ahead and go to Unit 7, Lesson 3, Level 1 on Code Studio. This is what you're going to see, and we're going to do this one together. It says call the function at least 2 more times with different names. Okay, so how is it being called already? Let's go ahead and open our debug console and run the program. So it's saying, Jesse, you're the best. It's taking the name. Where do we see Jesse ever? We see it right here. So I'm actually just going to copy that. Okay, and I'm going to paste it 2 times. Call the function with 2 more names. I'm just going to change the names. Okay, and now I'm going to reset it and run it again. All right, so that should be all that you have to do for this portion. Okay, pause the video here so you can complete this one and then come back. Now, level 2 is going to be, as we increase in these levels, I hope that you have noticed that they get more complicated. So we're just kind of easing in. And so we did one that was really easy, and now this one is just a little bit harder. So read the code for the random greeting function. All right, it says random greeting. First off, we have a couple issues here. Name is defined, but it's not called. Compliments is defined, but it's not called, okay? So random greeting, name, all right, and we're getting names up in here. All right, var greetings, variable, we have a list of greetings, okay? Console.log, greetings, is going to choose a random number that starts at 0, index of 0, and a length -1, so however many are in here, -1, because that's the largest index number, plus the name, okay? So finish the code for random complement. so that it randomly adds a comment from the list to the name passed through the parameter. The output to the console should look something like this. So let's run it first and see what we've got. Okay, we've got bonne journée and then 3 names. Okay, so we've got the greetings, and I don't know how it chose all 3 of those. So I would be interested in greetings. I don't know if it would do this random number. I bet you if we put this in a variable, okay, you can ignore this part right here. Yeah, that didn't work. I wonder why though. Good day. Okay, well at least this time it gave us some different ones. Okay, so I'm going to undo all this mess that I did. Okay, slight rabbit hole. All right, now add code so that the function console.logs the person's name followed by random complement from the list above. Okay, so this console.log is what we're looking for, right? I'm going to put it right there. Now, it's not greetings anymore. It's compliments. Okay, and then we still have the random number, but not from the greetings list, from the compliments list. And then we still have the name. Okay, but we want the name to come first though. So let's move this to the beginning and put it here. Okay, name plus compliments. And then let's see what that does. I'm gonna clear this, reset and run. All right, good day, Esmeralda. Esmeralda, you are uncommonly talented. All right, so as you can see, the code that is asking you to write has somewhat already been used earlier in the program, okay? So pause it so you can complete that and then move on to level 3. Okay, so this program works identically to the one you just wrote, but it has been organized differently because some functions return a value instead of logging them to the console. All right, so this is going to be important because now we're talking about returns, and that's the second part of what these first 4 lessons are about, okay? Parameters and return practice. So let's look at what we're supposed to do. Read the code for this program. All right. Greet and compliment. Benjamin, Raji, and Esmeralda. The function greet and compliment has the parameter of name. Console.log, random greeting. Random greeting is down here, plus name. Console.log, name plus random complement. Now, random greeting. Var greetings, good day. Let's read. Generates a random greeting. Returns a string. All right. Good day. Random greet. The variable. So whatever greeting comes from here is going to be stored in random greet based on the random number index that is selected. And then it's going to return random greet. Okay. And then the same thing needs to happen down here. So I want you to pause this and see if you can. It says finish the code for the random complement function. Use the comments and the code for random greeting to help, which is just what I said. Pause the video here to see if you can do this on your own. Okay, if you can't, then come back because I'm going to do it. But please know that I can't write your code for you for the create task. All right, so I'm going to start with var, and I'm going to call it random comp. Okay, then I'm going to say complements, and then I'm going to do this random number business. Okay, I'm going to start with 0, and then complements dot length -1, add a semicolon to the end. All right, and then return random comp, semicolon. All right, now let's hit run, and that's what you get. Okay, so we're not using we're only using the console log up here. We're not using it in these, but it's still returning into these. So whatever random complement gets selected from this list, from this random number, gets stored in here, and we're going to return that value, random comp. We're going to return it for this random complement function. So random complement now gets to go here, the one that was chosen, okay? Now, I want you to finish the rest by yourself and then complete the check for understanding on Schoology. And I will let you know that level 4, what you're going to do on this level is write a function that returns the season a month is in. So by this point, you should be noticing the type of commenting that is happening above each function. This format previews how you will need to write comments for libraries later on in the unit, which is literally this week, okay? Then level 5, you have a choice on level 5. Okay, let's look at that. You cannot choose longest word. Okay, you're going to choose either populations, random top 50, or sleep in. Okay, on this level, from those 3 that you can choose from, you will use parameters and return values. This one writes a function that returns the state or country with the largest population. This one writes a function that returns a random index from a list and then uses it in a program that prints out random tracks information from the Spotify top 50 list. That one sounds fun. Okay. And then this one creates a program that determines if it's okay to sleep in or not. All right. So once you decide to do that, and you're successful with that, move on to level 6. Here you are going to continue practicing, but now working with apps instead of everything returning into the console, okay? So on level 6, you're going to debug and comment an ordering app. Completing this level will require you to read programs that use functions with parameters and return carefully. Then level 7, we return to the complement code, okay? And on this level, this time, we are reworking it into an app. Again, you will write your own comments, this time including comments for a return value. You will also complete the update screen function. Okay, so don't forget to do that because there's literally nothing there. Okay, and that calls both the functions with parameters. All right, Level 8 gives you a little bit more practice writing a check correct function with parameters and making a quiz app function. Okay, the app uses data from the Root 100 most influential African Americans data set. Okay, and you can see that if you click the data tab, and then you can actually look at the data and check it out. Okay, and then you have level 9, which is an extension opportunity. Choose just one of these, okay? If you want more practice outside of class, you can do all 3 of them, and that will greatly help you prepare, okay? And then you're done with lesson 3.